In 1 Kings chapter 16, the story continues in the northern kingdom of Israel, where a rapid succession of kings rises and falls. The chapter reveals a pattern of instability, judgment, and increasing wickedness as the nation moves further away from the Lord. The chapter begins with a message from the Lord delivered through the prophet Jehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha, king of Israel. Though Baasha had been raised up from among the people and made ruler over Israel, he followed the sins of Jeroboam, leading the nation into idolatry. Because of this, God declares that Baasha's house will be destroyed, just as the house of Jeroboam had been. Those belonging to Baasha who die in the city will be eaten by dogs, and those who die in the country will be eaten by birds. Baasha reigns in Tirzah for 24 years. When he dies, his son Elah becomes king, but Elah's reign is short. While he is in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk in the house of his official Asa, a commander named Zimri, who is in charge of half the chariots, conspires against him. Zimri enters the house and kills Elah, becoming king in his place. As soon as Zimri takes the throne, he wipes out the entire household of Baasha, leaving no male survivors. This fulfills the word of the Lord spoken through the prophet Jehu. However, Zimri's reign lasts only 7 days. The army of Israel is camped near Gibbethon, a Philistine city, when they hear that Zimri has killed the king. In response, the troops proclaim Omri, the commander of the army, as king over Israel. Omri leads the army to Tirzah and lays siege to the city. When Zimri sees that the city has fallen, he goes into the citadel of the royal palace and sets it on fire around himself, dying in the flames. His brief reign ends in destruction, a result of his own sins and his continuation of Jeroboam's ways. But the kingdom does not immediately stabilize. The people of Israel are divided into 2 groups. One half supports Tibni, son of Ginnith, while the other half supports Omri. For a time, there is conflict between the 2 sides, but eventually Omri prevails. Tibni dies, and Omri becomes the sole king of Israel. Omri reigns for 12 years, first in Tirzah, and then in a new city he establishes. He buys a hill from a man named Shema and builds a city on it, calling it Samaria. This city becomes the new capital of Israel. Yet Omri does evil in the eyes of the Lord, even more than all the kings before him. He continues in the sins of Jeroboam, leading Israel further into idolatry. After Omri's death, his son Ahab becomes king. Ahab's reign marks a new level of wickedness. He not only continues in the sins of Jeroboam, but goes further by marrying Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians. Through this alliance, Ahab begins to serve and worship Baal, building a temple and altar for Baal in Samaria. Ahab also sets up an Asherah pole, provoking the Lord more than all the kings of Israel before him. During his reign, a man named Hiel of Bethel rebuilds Jericho, fulfilling an ancient curse spoken in the days of Joshua, that rebuilding the city would come at the cost of his sons' lives. This chapter shows a downward spiral. King after king rises and falls, each continuing in sin, until the nation reaches a new level of rebellion under Ahab. The key message is clear. When leaders continually reject God's ways, the consequences grow deeper and more destructive over time. Next comes 1 Kings chapter 17, where the prophet Elijah appears and confronts Ahab, declaring a drought over the land.